Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And let me be one of the first to wish you a very happy new year. So believe it or not, as you're watching this, it is at least January 2nd, 2022, or later, depending on when you watch this. And so we're already into a brand new year, which is crazy because 2021 went by so quickly. But alas, here we are. And so with a new year, typically at the beginning of each new year, I will post a media goals video, and then I will do like a separate 20 for 2020 or 20 for 21, or what it would be 21 for 21. Well, instead of doing that this year, I'm kind of sort of combining both of those into this video today, which I'm probably titling my 22 for 22 video. But this one is going to have actually more than 22 items, like individual things to consume, but you'll see as we go along here. So I have 6 individual books that we'll talk about that I hope to finish in the new year, and then 6 video games I hope to play, and then I have 4 different like movie categories, which again will make more sense as we move forward, and then 2 each of manga, TV series, and graphic novels. So running the gamut of all of the different media types that I love consuming the most. And so really excited to share with you guys some of my goals. And it's a really fun list, and I can't wait to share with you guys all of my plans for the upcoming year. But if you are excited about this video, please give this one a like down below. That really does help me out. But with all of that said, let's not waste any more time at all, because boy, I can ramble. Let's dive right in to my 22 pieces of media to consume in 2022 list. Let's talk about the 6 books I plan to read this year, and I have specifically like divided these up on purpose. So 6 books means one every other month. So that's my goal with this. Obviously I can finish them whenever, but at least it allows me to average 1 book every 2 months. So anyway, the first one on the list here is Paul Tremblay's The Cabin at the End of the World. And you can actually see this one is specially priced. So I found this one at Menards last year, which is just like so random to me, but either way, Menards hooked me up with The Cabin at the End of the World. So from what I know about this one is it's supposed to be a home invasion story mixed with an apocalyptic tale. So I love both of those things. Therefore, I'm really excited about this one. Now, typically I would do these on audiobook, but this is an audiobook that I've read really negative things about. The reviews on Audible are very poor because of their narration. And so I'm hoping to do this one in the physical form, but obviously I can do these in any form. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to consume the story. So yeah, I am excited about this one. I've had it in the collection for a while and have wanted to read it even longer because I've heard so many good things about it. I'm actually reading another Tremblay story right now. I'm hoping to wrap up because obviously I'm filming this before the end of the year. So I'm hoping to wrap it up before 2022 hits, but it's Survivor's Song by Paul Tremblay, and I'm really enjoying that one. It's almost like a real-time take, if you could call it that, on like an apocalyptic story or a pandemic story. And I know that one doesn't get a lot of love, so I'm liking it. So I'm hoping I will like this one even more because this one is universally enjoyed. So we will see. This is the first one on the list here, which I'm going just in alphabetical order, I should point out. So Paul Tremblay's The Cabin at the End of the World. Next up is one that this may have been on my list for like 2020, but I never ended up getting around to it. But now with the movie out, I really want to read this one. This is Dune, written by Frank Herbert. So this is a book. Obviously, I've known about this book since I was like in elementary school. It is a sci-fi classic or a fantasy classic. And this is just one I need to read. I need to say that I have consumed Dune. Now, here is one that I ended up specifically buying this version of it because it is so readable. Like the font is big. The pages are nice and floppy. Like this is just a really good version of this. And so I will likely do this one on physical form, but I might change my mind when I'm actually starting it and do the audiobook just because it is such a chunker. I tend to do better with chunky books on audio, so we'll see. But yeah, this is one that I want to read the book and then finally watch the new film, because I haven't watched that one yet because I've been waiting to read the book. So I'm hoping to do this one in early 2022, but we will see. Frank Herbert's Dune is one that I must read this year. If you guys watched my most recent like physical care package unboxing / Christmas gift unboxing, you'll know that my buddy sent me a book, and in that was Fablehaven, written by Brandon Mole. So this is actually book 1 of the Fablehaven series, which the reason he sent it to me was because recently I asked him, what were some of your favorite series ever? And this was one of those on that list, and I told him I'd never heard of it before because I hadn't, and so he sent it my way as a Christmas gift, and I am very excited about it. I know virtually nothing about this other than there's looks like 5 books in the series potentially. It's middle grade and it was released, I believe, in 2007. So I'm excited about it. And obviously, from the Harry Potter craze, so it's a thicker middle grade book. But I should be able to finish this one in the physical form without any issues. So really excited to dive into this and give one of his favorite series a chance. So Fablehaven, Book 1, written by Brandon Mull. One of my favorite books that I read for the first time in 2020 was a book written by David Sodergren called The Forgotten Island. And it was kind of like a Lovecraftian horror story, but it was really good. I read it very quickly and just loved it. And so since then, I ended up buying another one of his books that looks right up my alley, but I haven't read it yet, so it is on my list for 2022. This is Night Shoot by David Sodergren. So this one looks awesome because it's film-related. These filmmakers end up breaking into this old mansion, I believe, or the Crawford Manor, for an unauthorized shoot, and then things are going to go awry from there. I have no idea how supernatural it's going to get or what's going to happen here, but I'm going to give anything Sodergren writes a chance because he is really good, and so very excited about this one. Another one that's just super readable, like Forgotten Island. Cannot wait to check this one out. Night Shoot by David Sodergren. I'm so excited about these next two because both of them are film related. But the first one here, sticking in alphabetical order, this is Pictures at a Revolution, 5 movies and the birth of the new Hollywood, written by Mark Harris. So this is a real chunky one. So I'll be honest, I might end up doing this one on audiobook, and we'll see. I have no idea. But if you are a big film buff, you probably know of this book, and frankly, you've probably already read it because this is often cited as one of those must reads for film fans. So I've had this in my collection for many years now, but have never gotten around to it. So this is the year where I changed that. This book actually covers the story of the 5 Best Picture nominees for the 1967 Academy Awards. So you have, am I going to remember all 5 of them? We have The Graduate, we have, oh my gosh, Bonnie and Clyde, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, In the Heat of the Night, and Dr. Dolittle. I didn't remember all of them, but those are the 5 movies that this book covers. So I am very excited to check this one out. Like I said, this is just known to be kind of the book to read about film, or one of the books to read about film. Yes, cannot wait to finally get to this one. I'll be honest, I'll probably do this in an audiobook form just because it is so chunky, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, very happy to have this one in the collection and to finally be getting around to it. So Pictures at a Revolution, written by Mark Harris, is going to be the first of the 2 film-related books on my 6 books to read. And the last one here is another one that I will definitely be doing in the physical form. This is the Slasher movie book, written by J.A. Kurzweil. So this is a film book, but kind of like in an opposite style of that last one, which is probably going to be a lot more academic. This one is just going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I cannot wait to get to this one. You can see this one is not the longest. It definitely has some length to it, but there's so many pictures and posters. I am so excited about this. I bought this one years and years ago, and it has been sitting there, never being read. And so this year is the year where that changes. 2022 is going to be fantastic for film books. But yeah, I don't know. This is just awesome. There's going to be so much great information in here. I cannot wait. I love the slasher film, one of my favorite subgenres. So yeah. Awesome. Very excited about this one. And like I said, this is kind of like the antithesis of the last book, which is going to talk about real film. This is going to talk about slasher movies, and I am all about that. So yes, the slasher movie book written by J.A. Kurzweil is the last book that's going to go on my 6 books to read in 2022. So now let's talk, I guess we'll talk about the video games next. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be at the end of every year, I get real big back into gaming again. And so right now I'm on my gaming kick. I think this is a great time for releases. Like Forza Horizon 5 came out in November, and then ever since then, I've just been playing one game or another since then. And so it's been a blast. And so that's why I ended up going with 6 video games this time around. 1 every other month is not that big of a deal. Let me also preface this by saying, note that I'm saying I need to play these games. I don't necessarily need to beat them in order to succeed at this goal. I've come to the conclusion many years ago now that I really don't care about beating a video game. The only reason I play games is to have fun. It's a diversion. I don't talk about them in a review style too often here on the channel. I don't write about them. So it's just for fun. So once I'm done having fun with the game, I'm going to move on. And as long as I feel like I've gotten my money's worth, then I'm happy with that. So anyway, with that disclaimer out there, as long as I play Call of Duty Ghosts for at least an hour in 2022, I will have succeeded my goal. But as I mentioned, this is definitely one I want to beat. So anyway, Call of Duty Ghosts on Xbox One. This is seemingly very random because it's an older Call of Duty game, but I actually found my list from like 2018 and where I listed at that point all of the Call of Duty games and went through and was trying to beat all of them. I ended up getting to like World at War on PS3/Xbox 360, but instead of going back to that, I wanted to go to the most recent on like last gen's hardware, so Xbox One or PS4 hardware, just because those are what's hooked up. It's just going to be easier for me to play. And so the first one I hadn't beaten was Call of Duty Ghosts, which I believe was actually the first one released on these consoles. So this is interesting because it's generally looked at as one of the worst in the series. This one does not get any love at all, but that's fine. I love playing the campaigns on these, which again, it seems silly, but I love the Call of Duty campaigns. And so I'm really hoping that I can add Call of Duty Ghosts to that list of beaten Call of Duty campaigns. So the first game I'm hoping to get through or play at least is Call of Duty Ghosts on Xbox One. I'll mention again, I'm just going in alphabetical order, no special other order to this. Next up is Guardians of the Galaxy on PlayStation 5. So this was a recent pickup for me. It was super cheap around Black Friday, so I had to grab it. I've heard some awesome things about this, and I actually intended on playing this before the end of the year, but my buddy and I got stuck on Far Cry 6, and so I'm playing that instead. But yeah, this one has been kind of like, it was kind of a sleeper hit this year. I did not expect to like this one much at all. I haven't played it, so I don't know if I like it, but I've not expected others to like this very much. And it is often cited as people's game of the year. And so very excited to play this one. And it's definitely one I'm going to play next year. So Guardians of the Galaxy on PlayStation 5. Another recent pickup, thanks to Black Friday, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So I'm playing this one on Xbox Series X, and I'm only looking at the first Mass Effect, which again, I would like to beat it, but it's an RPG, so I really don't know if I'm going to or not. But we'll see. If I enjoy it, then maybe I will. But this one has all three of the original trilogy on it, but for these intents, or for these purposes, I'm looking at the first game on this. So never played this other than like the first 15 minutes and never got out of the like opening area. So I'm going to correct that in 2022. Very excited for this one. Heard great things about the remaster done on this. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition for Xbox Series X. You guys may or may not know, but I am a gigantic sports video gamer, and so I had to have a sports game on here, and I figured I would just toss the one on the list, the most recent one I picked up, which I actually grabbed this one earlier today before I started filming. This is NHL 21 on the PS4. So I wanted either NHL 22, which is the newest one, or 21, just to have like the newest possible version of this on PlayStation, because everything I have on PS4 is like NHL 17, NHL 18, I think. And so I wanted a newer version. And so this is why I ended up finding this one. I actually got this in a 2-for-1 sale. So I ended up paying nothing for it. So that was a really good deal. But this is, it's NHL. It's going to be the same as it's been since NHL 07. Like it just is what it is. But I like these games. So I'm going to play it. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. NHL 21 on PlayStation 4. Next up is another one that I had on my list back in 2020, but I just never got around to. And honestly, because I knew I wanted to pick up the PS5 eventually, I didn't really want to play any of my PS4 games because of the fact that my PS4 is so old. Everything on there just moves so slowly. So now that I have my PS5, I can play Marvel's Spider-Man. And very much so looking forward to this one because I played Ratchet and Clank earlier this year. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And realized that that style of game is really like my favorite outside of the sports genre, of course. And first person shooters, sports, and this like open world-ish, action adventure where you can kind of go anywhere and do anything. I love those. And so I'm sure I'm going to like this one. And it's finally time to play it. Marvel's Spider-Man. I think I got this one for Christmas in like 2019? Is that when this one came out? I want to say it was 2019, which is just ridiculous that I haven't played it yet, but I'm correcting that this year for sure. So the last video game on my list is actually for the Nintendo Switch. I had to fit it in here somehow, and so this works out. This is Ty the Tasmanian Tiger HD. So if you are an old school gamer, you might remember that this is actually a PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube era game, but they did do a remaster for the Switch and PS4, and they actually did the second one as well, but the second one I believe is only digital. Like there is a 2-pack, a double pack, but it has the first one on the game cart, but the second one is a digital download code, which is super lame. But anyway, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger HD, a 3D platformer, like I said, from the PS2 era of games, and really looking forward to checking this one out. My buddy just beat it on the PS4. He really enjoyed it, and he said it's relatively easy, and I'm all about the easy. So hopefully I will get to beat this one in the coming year here. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger HD is going to wrap up all the video games that I plan to play in 2022. So let's talk some manga, and then TV series, and then, what was the other one? Graphic novels, and then we'll wrap it up with the film categories. So figuring out what I wanted to do for manga was honestly like the most difficult because I don't own a ton of things that I really want to read, like Berserk, for example. I would love to read that one, but I don't see myself like buying those anytime soon, and so I didn't add them to my list. Instead, I did go with some that I already owned, but the first one here is Soul Liquid Chambers #1. So this is actually going to be representative of more than one of these manga. I do have #1 and #2 in my collection, so I hope to read both of them. Because with manga, what I've learned is that you can't just read one and decide if it's for you or not. You usually have to read at least a couple, 3, sometimes even 4. So with this one, because I have the first 2, I will stick with those and go from there. But this is a post-apocalyptic story that looks really cool. The like art on the inside just looks awesome. I'll try to make sure this is safe for work, and it is. Okay. Just like really cool artwork in there. I don't want to show too much because I imagine there's probably some not appropriate material in there. But yeah, this is one that I found like in the bargain bin at Barnes & Noble recently. So I figured this would be a good one for 2022. We'll see how this one goes. Soul Liquid Chambers #1 and #2. And these are written by Nozomu Tamaki. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. And then the second manga on my list for 2022 is going to be Soul Eater. And this is a series that I honestly don't know a ton about. I know there is an anime for this, I believe, that's pretty popular. And this is a really popular manga from what I remember. But I did find all of these perfect editions from Disc Replay in 2021, and they're gorgeous. And so I'm going to read all 3 of the Soul Eater perfect edition mangas that I have. So this will be Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. I'll show some of the art in this as well, trying not to give any spoilers, but you can see like this is just a beautifully drawn story as well. And this oversized edition, like comparing this to a normal sized manga, it's so much bigger. And so that's really cool. I'm just going to really be able to appreciate the art on these, and another hardcover edition. So yeah, awesome. So happy that I found this, and this is going to go on the list. So Soul Eaters volumes 1, 2, and 3, and these are written by Atsushi Okubo. And yeah, so that's another one that's indicative of more than one piece of media that I'm consuming. But yeah, Soul Eater and then Soul Liquid Chamber. So should be a pretty interesting year when it comes to manga. And then obviously I'll read some other things, but these are the 2 I have on my list for this year. Okay, so for TV series, I have 2 for this as well, and we're going to go with alphabetical order again. The first one is just an absolute favorite from my childhood. This is Rocko's Modern Life, the complete series. And yes, my goal is to watch the complete series of this. So this entire DVD box set. This is one that I've had in my collection for a long time now, and I just never gotten around to. But I love this show. It is one of my all-time favorites, but I haven't seen it in many years now. And so I figured this would be a great excuse to go back and revisit this one. Rocko's Modern Life is one of those like I'm sure there were a lot of adult themes in this, and whenever I see clips, I remember, or I think to myself, wow, like, I didn't catch that when I was younger, and that's, like, some of the greats do that, some of the great shows, and so, very excited to revisit this wonderful series. Rocko's Modern Life, the complete series, is the first TV series I hope to complete in 2022. And then the second one, I actually set, like, a quarterly goal in 2020, I guess it was, to try to watch this series, but I never did, and so I'm going to correct that this year. Twin Peaks. Finally, I need to watch this series. Like, I don't know how I haven't seen this David Lynch, what often many consider a masterpiece, and so, I don't know, I cannot wait to see what this is all about. So this whole box set here on Blu-ray contains the original series, Fire Walk with Me, and The Missing Pieces. And so the only thing that's not included here is the new series, but I'm not going to include that in my goal, I don't think. I wrote down how many episodes, but I don't think that's included in my goal. I will correct myself if I'm wrong. But yeah, very excited to get to Twin Peaks. You know what? Let me take a look real quick at my chart because I want to say how many episodes each of these are, if I can get it open. So this is 48 episodes and 2 movies in this pack. So I honestly don't know if that includes the most recent series as well, but I want to say it doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, but again, I'll correct myself. So yeah, Twin Peaks is another one I hope to finish, and then I will also note that Rocko's Modern Life has 53 episodes. So 53 episodes with Rocko's Modern Life, and then 48 episodes for Twin Peaks plus 2 movies. So yeah, should be, again, a really cool year for TV. And now obviously these are not the only things I'll watch this year, but these are 2 that I wanted to add to the list to kind of push myself to make these a priority. So everything else in this video, I did not pull because with the movies, there's just so many of them. I didn't want to have to put them all back at the end. And then with the graphic novels, which I'll talk about now, they're just so big. I didn't want to bring them down. And so the first graphic novel I hope to do in 2022 is The Walking Dead Compendium Volume 1. So this is a gigantic book. This one has, let me see so I don't say it wrong, 48 issues. So this is actually 8 different volumes if you were to do it in the trade paperback volume style. But this is a compendium that I've had for like 10 plus years now. I bought it at, what's that bookstore? Books A Million when I lived in West Virginia. And I have just never sat down to read this, but I've been wanting to get into the comic book of The Walking Dead for so long now. So I'm going to commit myself to reading this whole first compendium, which, like I said, is 48 issues. So really looking forward to this. I only made it like 4 seasons, I think, into the TV series before I checked out of that one. Nothing really like pulling me back in. So maybe I'll get back into it once I read the graphic novel. I have no idea. But anyway, either way, I'm looking forward to The Walking Dead and finally seeing what Robert Kirkman is able to do with the, graphic novel style or the comic book style of this show instead of the series. So really excited about this one. I cannot wait to check this off my list. The Walking Dead Compendium Volume 1, 48 issues, which is 8 different volumes that I'm hoping to complete in the new year. The second item on my graphic novel list is a series that I've been wanting to finish for a very long time. And frankly, what I'm putting on this goal, I've read most of already, but I want to go back, read that, and then eventually continue on. But for this year, I just wanted to have this one on it, and then maybe next year I'll have the next volume on. But anyway, this is Injustice, Gods Among Us, Omnibus, Volume 1. And these are the entirety of the Tom Taylor written Injustice series. And so this one actually contains 6 volumes in this one omnibus, and it has 39 issues. So lots of different things to read here. It's going to have all of years 1, 2, and 3 of Injustice, and then 4, 5, and Ground Zero are in the second omnibus, which frankly, I'll probably end up buying this year because I do want to get to it. So if I finish Volume 1 of this omnibus early enough in the year, then I will probably move on to the second one. But let me talk about what this series is. This is basically, this whole thing started as like a tie-in to the video game Injustice, where it is a like alternate universe or like a non-canon story of I forget now. I think Superman turns bad and Batman is like, he has some, people with him, and then there's Batman on the other side with his group of people, and they basically come to a head. Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, they start fighting. And so then in Injustice, the video game, at the end of the 5 years and at the end of Ground Zero, that's what leads into the video game, where it's like this almost like post-apocalyptic looking setting because these superheroes have just been going at it for 5 years. And so it's an amazing story. I love it so much from what I've read, but I've not finished it. And so that's what I'm hoping to start this year, and then maybe next year I'll, try to finish that. But really looking forward to these, 38 issues and 6 different volumes. I don't actually own the omnibus yet, but I do own them all in like their standard volumes, but it's just easier to say the omnibus because it covers everything I hope to read. So the Tom Taylor written Injustice, Gods Among Us is the second item on my graphic novel to read list for 2022. So let's wrap this up with the 4 film categories I'm hoping to achieve in 2022. So I don't have any of these in the physical form with me just because I didn't want to lug these all around and then have to put them all back. So I'm going to show you guys some covers and whatnot as we go through this. But the first one here is the 1967 Best Picture nominees. So Obviously, I'm going to be reading Pictures at a Revolution, and that covers these 5 movies, so I want to watch them, because all but one of them I haven't seen before. So the one I've seen already is The Graduate, one of my favorite films. I love that movie so much, and I do own that one on Criterion Collection Blu-ray. It's amazing. I love that movie. So I've already seen that one, but I will rewatch that for this year, so this still counts toward the goal. And then we have Bonnie and Clyde, directed by Arthur Penn. I should mention Mike Nichols directed The Graduate. And then we have Dr. Dolittle, directed by Richard Fleischer. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, directed by Stanley Kramer. And then In the Heat of the Night, directed by Norman Jewison. So I know a number of these are available on the Criterion Collection, but I think I only own like 1 or 2 of them. So I will have to track these down at some point this year, either streaming or otherwise. But I would love to have them all in my collection to go with my book, but we'll see. So yeah, there are 5 movies on this part that I'm really looking forward to checking out. All of the Best Picture nominees from 1967. The second one on this list is one, frankly, I could have grabbed these because they're actually right over there, but I didn't, so we'll just use another picture. But this is My Journey to Middle-earth, and this will be a first-time viewing, a first-time trip to Middle-earth for me, and I am so excited about this. I actually just received Lord of the Rings in 4K for Christmas. I ended up buying The Hobbit in 4K last year, so this is like perfect timing. Now that I have them both in the best format possible, I am finally going to sit down and watch the entire Middle-earth saga. So we have the 3 Lord of the Rings films and the 3 Hobbit films. So these 2 trilogies are on the list for 2022, and I can't wait to talk about them after I watch them, because that's one I definitely hope to do a video on, just because it's such a like popular series that I should have read by now, or should have seen by now, but I haven't. And I've actually only read The Hobbit. I haven't read the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so maybe I'll get to that at some point next year as well. I don't know, but I'm not worried about reading the book before watching the movies in this instance, just because they feel so standalone. Like, they're both iconic in their own way. So we'll see how these Peter Jackson films are. If I, enjoy them, or if I might find them a little bit overrated, who knows? But we'll see. So next on the list is My Journey to Middle-earth with the Hobbit trilogy and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Next up is one that could potentially evolve as the year goes on, and frankly, I'm sure it probably will. I'll probably add a few more to this very specific part of my collection, but my goal is to watch 100% of my 4K boutique label collection by the end of the year. And so right now, I have 7 films from boutique labels that are on 4K, and I've already watched one of them, Halloween from Scream Factory. I've already watched, so that one is not included in this goal. But Donnie Darko from 2001, Flash Gordon from 1980, Mad Max from 1979, Pitch Black from 2000, Prince of Darkness from 1987, and They Live from 1988. So those are all of the other, 7 movies that I'm looking to complete in 2022. That said, I most likely will be buying something in 4K from the Criterion Collection this year, so I'll probably, that if I do, that would count towards this goal as well. So anything I pick up in 2022 that is a boutique label and it's on 4K, that counts toward this goal. So at the end of the year, I hope to have watched 100% of that collection, because it's small enough that I think, yeah, this is something I can probably do. And I love these movies. I've seen almost all of the ones I've just talked about, and I love them. So no problem at all rewatching them. So really looking forward to this one. 100%ing my boutique 4K collection by the end of the year. All right, so we have one more item here for 2022, and fortunately it's the end of this because I can feel my voice going. I finished my water, and I don't want to get up and get another one, so we're going to wrap this up, and I apologize if my voice sounds weird. This is the second video I've been filming today. So anyway, the last one here is to finally catch up on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what this means is that I have like 7 more films to watch to catch up on this, and I'm not including any of the TV series. I would like to watch those as I go, but I'm not making those mandatory. I simply want to watch the movies themselves. And so we ended up leaving off at Ant-Man and the Wasp 2. So now I need to watch from there Captain Marvel from 2019, Avengers Endgame from 2019, Spider-Man Far From Home, also from 2019. Then we skip 2020 because of the pandemic and go to Black Widow from 2021, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Eternals, and then finally Spider-Man No Way Home, all from 2021. So this is I love this series, and so I don't know why I'm so far behind, but it is what it is. Things get backed up. I have so many interests that I just don't get to get caught up on everything I want to be caught up on. And that's just the way it goes. So no shame. It is what it is. Everybody has movies they'd like to see that they haven't. It's just the way it goes. But this year, I am dedicating myself to getting caught up with that. Now, that said, by the end of 2022, I know there's going to be, 3 more movies, I believe? I know there's a Thor movie and a Black Panther movie, and I want to say there's a Doctor Strange movie as well for this year. But if I get to those, great. The ones I want to get to are the ones that I want to be caught up with 2021 by the end of 2022. And then I can go back and watch those if I don't already get to them, because in a perfect world, I will have watched all these before the first one comes out, which I believe is in May. So then we can go see that in theaters, which we never do. But I know me, it likely won't happen. And so I will do my best to catch up on the Marvel Cinematic Universe this year. 7 movies to watch, and I cannot wait because I've loved everything that they've done so far in varying degrees, of course, but I really enjoy the MCU. So really looking forward to having this one on my goal list. And it's one that my wife will watch with me too, which is always cool. I was going to put in a handful of things here, but landed on this one specifically because they are ones that I can watch with my wife. And so she is also excited about this goal. So really looking forward to this one. So that is it. Those are the 22 items for 2022. All right, so there are some of the items that I hope to consume this year, and man, this should be just a really fun year. I am really looking forward to it. I'm very excited that I decided to get rid of the goals and do this, and just sticking to this one, because this makes it a little bit more interesting, at least for me, because I'm able to do categories of film as opposed to just one movie. That just seems, I don't know, more interesting. It's a little bit more difficult to achieve, but when I'm not focused on both a goals list and a 21 for 21 or whatever the case is, then it feels more doable. And so that was the goal here, is to actually create something that, 1, I want to consume, and then 2, that I can consume in a year. So I think it's possible. We will see what happens as the year goes on, though. But I want to hear from you guys down in the comments below. What are your media goals for 2022? Do you have any lofty expectations or hopes that you plan to do this year? Leave those down below. I know some of you have already talked about you're changing your collection habits, which, should I change my collection habits? Yeah, I probably should, but am I going to? Honestly, probably not. 1, I love media hunting. I love collecting, and it is what it is. I'm not ashamed of it. It's just the way it is. I enjoy it, so why not do what you love to do? And 2, you guys love it as well. Looking at my videos, the haul videos are what get the most attention and the most views, and so I don't want to change that, because not only do I love doing it, but it also helps the channel. So it just seems silly to try to put a limit on myself in that realm. But anyway, guys, let me know what you're planning for the new year. So if you did enjoy this video, though, please give it a like down below. That really does help me out. And as you can tell from this video, I like all things media, and if you do too, you might consider subscribing, be it books, movies, video games, graphic novels. If it's media, I'm there for it. But that is going to do it for today, guys. Once again, I wish you a very happy new year, and I hope that it is the best year yet, however you measure that. I hope it's a fantastic year for you. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching this video, though. I really do appreciate that, and I want to encourage you all to consume some media here in the new year. I'll catch you next time.